Okay, everybody, welcome back to another interview series for the Office of Student Veteran Engagement. We are making the most of our time in distance learning, and so we've been able to interview subject matter experts across the state and sometimes across the country. And so today I have Alfredo Torres with me from the Virginia Department of Veteran Services. Alfredo, thank you so much for joining us and being here to talk a little bit about DVS.
Sure. Thank you. I appreciate it, Charlie. And just to let you know, we went under a little bit of a rebranding. So now we are Vdvs, Virginia Department of Veteran Services. We're trying to stay away from being called, or associated with the VA.
Yeah, well, I will tell you a little insight about me is I'm going to mess up that acronym at least 3 more times in this call. So
It's all good.
You got to be ready, and you got to get me back on brand. But I love rebranding, and I love DVS anyway. So it's great to have you. Student veterans will know that you send out periodic messages, flyers, invitations to participate in programs. So now they can match a face with those emails. And if you would, can you just please tell me just a little bit about Vdvs? And is it like the VA but for Virginia, or just tell me a little bit about the whole organization?
So what a lot of people don't realize is that they get 2 sets of benefits. You get your federal benefits, and we're all familiar with that: GI Bill, guaranteed home loan, that stuff. But then you get state benefits, and those state benefits will vary from state to state. Vdvs is the Virginia Department of Veteran Services, and they are the ones who control the state benefits, or who are in charge of making sure that the state benefits are there and are able to run the way that they're supposed to.
Right. And so I feel like we're lucky to be in Virginia, to have a really strong state level of support. And so what I did is I followed your advice and I downloaded the latest resource guide. And so I am going to have that in the office available for folks, and I'm going to put it as a link at the bottom of this YouTube in the description, but I'm also going to send it out to everybody so that they have the resource guide. But in the meantime, I thought it would be helpful if you just told us just a little bit about the different parts of it. So one that I know we've talked about before is the Virginia Veteran and Family Support section of Vdvs. So yeah, tell me just a little bit about what they do.
All right, Virginia Veteran and Family Support, otherwise known as VVFS, they are the ones who take care of your well-being. Okay, so if you have a if you're having mental problems or issues, if you're having homelessness issues, if you're about to be homeless, and if you're sleeping on somebody's couch, you're homeless. Okay, that's something for you to realize. If you're about if you're about to get kicked out of your house, if you're what we call a justice involved veteran, where you made some mistakes and you went in to jail and you came out, okay, these are the people for you to contact, and they will help you, connect you to counseling, connect you to services that can help you, get a home or get a place to stay and put you on a path to recovery.
Right. And I think that's a really good resource, obviously, for all the reasons that you just described. And I also think it's important for us to have that in mind, possibly for others too. So one of the things that I know about the veteran community from myself, and then also from everybody else who's in it, is that we look out for one another. And so it could be that we can help somebody else who's in one of the situations that you just described. And again, this is a good resource to just have on hand, or be able to bring up the website for another person, for another veteran. And in this case, it sounds like it's for a family too. So
it could, and anybody in the family, they'll take care of. They'll have resources to send them to or connect them to. And just real quick, one of the important things is that all the resources that we will send you off to have been vetted by us. So we're not going to send you off to somebody that we think is a crackpot, somebody that we think is there to take your money. None of that. We try to really be on brand with the people who we're dealing with.
And that's really important. I mean, that's one of the big things that I think when I talk to folks about counseling, for example, one of the big turnoffs for veterans is if somebody doesn't understand the veteran perspective or the military, what it's the military lifestyle is like. From a counseling standpoint, they can't necessarily help us get where we're trying to go. And it's so nice for there to be a state level organization that's vetting people ahead of time. So yeah, that's a good service. That's really excellent. And so everybody just has that in their back pocket. It's what we get for being here in Virginia. And so all my women, married student veterans and folks who are still in, they can keep that in mind for themselves and then for their shipmates, for their battle buddies, everybody else. Okay, so the next little category I have is the military medics and corpsmen. And so we do have a few folks who are medically trained corpsmen types. So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about that program?
This program is incredible. It is the only one in the United States, and it's right here in Virginia. So what this program does is it started out as a program which was to get medics and corpsmen who spent the last 12 months or within the last 12 months utilizing their skills on the battlefield to be able to come back and get a job in an emergency room of some of the local hospitals to without their degree. Okay, so because they had real world experience, they were able to go straight to work at a hospital. What it's morphed into is anybody with any medical rating or any medical MOS can go into this program and get a job in the medical field. They've really just embraced the entire medical community, and and the connections that they have with all of the big, well, almost all of the big medical facilities in the state are amazing.
Right. I think that's fantastic. Like, as I said, we've had some women, married student veterans who have told me about the disconnect between the military community and the civilian equivalent, where you mentioned this is real world experience. And I think that's true across all different, people's fields. But with the medical, it was really egregious because we knew that was expensive training. It was really good training.
Right.
That OJT there's nothing like it in the world.
That's a fact.
So for them to not be recognizing it once folks get out was disappointing. And so I'm super glad to hear about this program that helps connect everybody. And I will say we do have a lot of interest in the medical field. And I think that's because of that service connection. So people fall in love with service when they're in the military, and then they want to keep doing it. And we want them to keep doing it. If that's where their heart is taking them, absolutely, rock on. How can we help? And so it sounds like Vdvs, I got it. It sounds like this is a program not for everybody, but certainly for people who are interested in that medical field.
Yeah. It's what's really great about it is, like you just said, a lot of us leave the military and we want to continue that call to service. Okay, it's what I'm doing, it's what you do. We do it in different capacities, obviously, but those with a medical training who want to continue that call for service, it's always been a little bit rough for them, and this program allows them to continue doing it the way that they know how, the way that they're comfortable, to still be able to take care of others. So it's a fantastic program.
Yeah, it seems like it's really just, fixing a mistake, which is that disconnect and that gap.
Right.
Well, that's great. Okay, so next up, we've got Virginia Transition Assistance Program.
Let's flip the next two.
Okay, sure. So we'll do Virginia Values Veterans, V3.
Right, because that'll explain VTAP a lot easier.
Okay.
So Virginia Values Veterans is a state certification that businesses, nonprofits, schools, government agencies can earn. Okay, they can earn them for free, and they go through training, how to recognize veteran talent, how to retain veteran talent, which is probably one of the biggest issues, you know, that whole veteran civilian language barrier that exists. They're taught all of these things, and then once they're done, they get certified veteran friendly. Currently, there are over 1,300 V3 certified companies that have gotten that have led to the employment of over 65,000 Virginian veterans. So they're working hard.
Yeah, that is amazing. You know, William & Mary is V3 certified. I always double check to make sure before I was I looked at least this semester to make sure. And I think that is another thing that makes Virginia special, you know, is that there's a program to put veterans in touch with employers who get it. You know, I think that it's cool that it's a process too. It's not that somebody just calls one day and says, you know, I love veterans, and then they get approved. You know, it's this training piece, and I think it's a really good way for somebody to sort the business communities and the opportunities that they're seeing by who is amenable to veterans, who is on the lookout for veterans.
Sure. And you know, and this isn't a one and done deal. They have to recertify every few years. They could lose the certification if they're not meeting certain standards. So again, you know, because it's through the state, we got to kind of, it's not our reputation, it's the state's reputation, you know. So we got to make sure that everything gets done properly.
Right, and I think it's a good benefit. If I understand correctly from talking to from V3 companies, is that they really enjoy it for the obvious reasons, but also for the networking too. So
sure.
Yeah, I think it's a great benefit for everybody all around. And so that's yet another thing that's run through Vdvs.
Right. And how it ties into this next part that you're about to talk about, the Virginia Transition Assistance Program.
Yes, tell us, how does it tie in?
Okay, well, V3 deals with the businesses. VTAP, Virginia Transition Assistance Program, deals with the military members and their spouses. Okay, we work with transitioning service members, veterans, and military spouses, and we try to connect them with education, entrepreneurial, or employment opportunities. One of the ways that we do that is working with our V3 partners. So let's say you want to connect, or you're looking for a job with Booz Allen Hamilton. Well, Booz Allen Hamilton is a V3 company. So I've got a contact over there. So now you go and you tell me, hey, Alfredo, I'm looking at, you know, to connect with Booz Allen. It's this job I want. I'll tell you, go apply. And then once you apply, send me the link and the resume. I'm going to send it to my contact at Booz Allen Hamilton. He's going to make sure somebody pulls that resume and pulls that application so that you have an actual human being who's going to look at it. And then they're going to get back in contact with you. Now, of course, there's no guarantee for a job. Nothing guarantee, you know, your father owning the company doesn't guarantee you a job, you know, but at least, you know, somebody is looking at it, and you know that somebody's reviewing it with the intent of saying, this person is a veteran. I want to hire them if I can, or if they're upper, you know, if they're in the upper quarter of that of that candidate pool.
Right. And I know that dovetails with what you do. So yep, we talked, and you're a certified resume specialist and all these things. So yeah, tell me about your specialty in that regard.
So my specialty is transition assistance. Okay, like you said, I'm a certified professional resume writer. I'm a certified career coach and career counselor at the local, state, national, and global level. Yeah, that's why if you go on LinkedIn and you see all those initials after my name, they're all different certifications.
That's right. We couldn't outrun you if we tried. You had to
No,
get off the planet.
yeah. So I'm looking for the universal one, that
Hmm.
universal career coach certification again. But my thing is to help you with your transition. Now, you've been through transition, so you know it's never just getting a job. And one of the things that's great about VTAP is our one-on-one holistic approach. Um, I'm sure you've seen it where somebody comes to you saying, "Hey, Charlie, what class should I take next semester?" And then it ends up that they're about to be kicked out of their house, or that their wife left them, or that they're having flashbacks. So it's never about what you do in these situations. It's about your ability to be empathetic, sympathetic, and then have resources to get them to where they need to do. So we end up being resource providers, and that's what I am. At the end of the day, I like to always say I'm a guy who knows a guy. That's that New Yorker in me. It's like, oh, you need something? I got you. Yo, let me. Shh, I got this guy over here. We'll do this, and you keep it quiet. You don't tell nobody. Everybody will be okay.
I know just the guy. I
I got
know just who
yeah.
to call. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And remember, I may never call on you, but if I do, remember what I'm doing for you now. Um,
exactly. On the day
right?
of your daughter's wedding.
Exactly. You come to me today on this day when I can say no. Wait. So yeah, it's a lot of that. But my ability to network, my ability to form and to foster and to maintain relationships ends up being really, really useful in this position.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I know that firsthand, and also from the resources that you've been able to provide to us through just the mailing list, for example. And
Yeah.
so that's not even the one-on-one piece, that's just the general
Right.
offerings. So that's
Right.
really great. So what are some common misconceptions about VDVS? What are some things where people got it wrong a little bit?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you the one. We are not the VA. That's the one. Okay. We are the state portion of your benefits. The VA is the federal. If you move to North Carolina, you lose us, but you will gain North Carolina's department or whatever they call it. But you don't lose your federal. So one of the things that we always have to do is do that diffusion when they call in and they start, hammering us. Well, the VA is not. USA, USA. Let's slow it down. We're not the VA. You know, we work with them, and we actually do a pretty good job working with them, but we are not them. So we always got to get that first blast of anger and hatred and vitriol, and it's like, whoa, I didn't slap your mom.
Right.
Relax.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, but I do think it is good to have multiple, sources of resource. And
Oh,
like you
sure.
said, you guys can help with interpreting possibly some responses from the VA because of the things that you've seen. And
Sure.
so, yeah, I can see that being, a good thing too. Not just, oh, it's not all centralized, but it is also different and Virginia specific, especially with the lists of programs that we just talked about. It's nice to have them tailored for this area,
Sure.
So
And
no,
that's one of the most important things too, is that they're tailored to this area. When you call the VA, if you're looking for employment assistance, you live in Colorado, and the person you're talking to it could be in Washington, and they're from New Jersey, and here you're going to talk to somebody who lives in the area, who's familiar with the area that you're looking for and with the companies that you want to work with. So that's one of the things. I'm still from New York, but that's one of those. I've been here 20 years now, so at this point, I'm a Virginian.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can
Right.
even tell us what time of day we should be on the road, on which road, which I think is
Exactly.
that's that deep counseling right there. Is like, hey, there's tunnel and then there's also 495. And so I want to give you a piece of advice on both
Yeah,
of
right,
those,
right.
So
And it's like, look, you leave 5 minutes early or you're here for another hour and a half if you're hitting that tunnel.
that's right.
If you hit it at the wrong time, you're done.
You just got to get out the door. I don't care about anything else. Yeah,
That's
I
right.
know. And I've gotten that great advice. So yeah, it's perfect to have somebody who's in the area for things like that. And it's a metaphor for all the other things that go with it. Okay, so if somebody's watching this and they only remember one thing from this session, what would you like for that to be?
Smile. Smile. No matter what you're going through, there are people here to help you. And we're always, we're always 3 degrees away. You got 7 degrees from separation from Kevin Bacon, right? Yeah, we're only 3 degrees separation from anybody anywhere. Your students, if they forget this, all they got to know is that me. It's that easy. Yeah, so you can get to me somehow. You can get to the Virginia Department of Veteran Services somehow. And when you get to them, you can get to somebody who's going to take care of you the best that they can.
Yes, that's great. And that just gets me to my last question. How can folks get in touch with you? I know you said that everybody should take a chance to see all the letters at the end of your LinkedIn. So yeah, I'll put your email on here too. But yeah,
Sure.
If you wouldn't mind, just the different ways that people can get in touch with you.
Well, the different ways to get in touch with the organization is you can go to DVS, Delta Victor Sierra .Virginia spelled out .gov. And that's one way for you to call up on the interwebs, as they say. So you can get with us, but you're going to have my phone number and my email here, so you guys can just look down at what is in the comment section where you're going to put it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you can feel free to reach out to me there. And if you want to reach out to me on LinkedIn, Alfredo Torres. My LinkedIn is actually my LinkedIn connection is also in my signature block. So if you want to just add that, you can. But if you try to look me up on LinkedIn, it's the Alfredo Torres with like 100 initials after my name. And it's all those certifications.
It's not an exaggeration. I mean, it's the whole alphabet there at the end.
It's 5 certifications with four letters each. So 20 letters after my name. Yeah.
Well, that's great. And you know what? That's the only way to recognize that outstanding beard that you've got is it's going to have.
You know what? I was wondering if you were going to go and talk about it.
I have to, because the student veterans know I shaved my beard in the fall, and and it's been a transition unto itself. And so when I see the luscious beard that you've got, it's got to get mentioned. I think it has to.
And honestly, when did we talked last week? So I trimmed about an inch off to get it, it's starting to get a little scraggly, but to get it to look a little more, I don't know. Are you showing the video?
Yes.
Yeah. So that they can see, this is how you maintain it, is you got to keep, you got to keep combing it.
It's work.
Oh yeah. It's work. You don't get this, but you don't just get this by just showing up. No, you got to work this.
That's right. That's right. I know everybody's learning it if they didn't know it already. Alfredo, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out to share with us about all these resources and for being available for people to connect directly with you. It's always a pleasure, and they're going to find that out if they want some of those one-on-one services. They'll find out about the luscious beard and how great you are to work with.
Well, I appreciate it, Charlie. And again, you run a great program there, and so I'm looking forward to the few times that that someone's going to have to find me there, because most of the times they don't get past you. because you're on top of your game down there.
That's right. That's why we got to keep this interview series going, find out about all these great things like this, and share them out. So thanks again. This has been fun.
All right. Thanks, Charlie. I'll talk to you soon.